We're good to go. Please stand. And let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored thy help, or sought thy intercession, was left unaided. Inspired by this confidence, I fly unto thee, O Virgin of Virgins, my Lord. To thee do I come, before thee I stand, sinful and sorrowful. O Mother of the Word incarnate, despise not my petitions, but in thy mercy hear and answer me. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Mr. Kleinmark, very well. Okay. Take out your practice test, please. Let me summon up my own copy. And my old wheel. Looking at chapter 7. And, all right. Number 1, I'll just read off the answers, so grab your favorite red writing utensil. Grab my glasses too. Number 1, x is equal to 2, y is equal to 4. So the two lines should cross at 2, 4. If you put 2, 4 in parentheses, I'll accept that too, as long as they're in that order. Number 2, and make sure you show your substitution work. Solve by substitution, x equals 3, y equals 1. Nick page. Number 3, solve by elimination. X equals -2, and y equals -2. Number 4, solve by any valid method. I am terribly sorry I crunched that space.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. That will not happen on the test. My apologies there. Number 4, infinitely many solutions. You could also put coinciding.
If you put a solution with that.
That would be wrong. Yes. The best answer to that is coinciding. But you could also say infinite solutions. Number 5, solve by substitution. Actually, on the test, 5, 6, and 7, I'm going to let you solve any old way, please. That was actually kind of a computer typo. There's a little button you have to hit to tell it not to. Please don't say insist on substitution, and I forgot to click the button. I also apparently forgot to click the thing giving space. So number 5, x equals 3, y equals -6. You could use any method you like. Number 6, x equals 3, y equals -1. And number 7, x equals 1, y equals 5. And again, you did not have to use any particular method on those from 4 through 7. Yeah. Number 8, how many students can a van carry? 11. How many students can a bus carry? 22. And a repeat so far. I should actually put this in so that Michael can see there's a human being. Hi, Michael. We're here. Up through number 8, we read off number 9. Let me graph this thing. It's going to be really kind of aggravating to do otherwise. For number 9, the first line has a slope of 1/3 and a y-intercept of -2. Solid dots, so it's up 1 over 3. Solid. Draw a line. And y is greater than or equal to 1/3. Which way does that shade? Up. So if you have a letter by itself and y is greater than, so I'm going to indicate it's going to shade up when we get to that point. And yet, no pun intended. And then y is greater than 2/3 plus 3. Let's go up to 3. Solid dot, because it's also greater than or equal to. And then the slope is 2 over 1. So you can run up, rise 2, run 1. You can also go down 2, left 1 if you want. It should look like this. And if y is greater than or equal to, again, you shade up again. which region is the solution region? You tell me. Is it to the left, the right? Well, this is either the upper left, upper right, lower left, or lower right. What do you think? Where is it covered twice? Upper left. Yep. Right up here. So you shade that particular part. Like that. Okay. Number 10. Y is less than or equal to negative 4/3 minus, let's write it out. Y is less than or equal to negative 4x minus 3. I should have done it over here too. Hang on a second. For the person listening at home, y is greater than or equal to 1/3 x minus 2. And the other one is y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 3. That was for that one. This one is y is less than or equal to negative 4/3 x minus 3, and y is less than 2x plus 3. Or is it minus 3? No, it's plus 3. Let's try that one. This one it has a y-intercept of negative 3, solid dot because it has an equals in it, and the slope is negative 4/1. Now you could go down 4. You'd have to make your own dashes, I think. And then to the right 1. That works. But, yeah, that definitely goes off screen. You could also go backward. You could go up 4 and left 1. Because you can always just put the negative on the bottom. It'll give you the exact same fraction. Negative 4/1, 4/-1, they'll both give you negative 4. So either way you want, it'll give you the same line. It'll be a solid line. Try and make it look straight. I didn't do a very good job, but whatever. And then you tell me, which way does this shade? Definitely away from 0. That's one way to do it. Plug in 0, 0, and it comes up false. There's another way. There. Okay.
The variables around so you can just do less than.
Right. If y is by itself, you can say, if y is less than, you go which way?
Away from 0. Negative.
That was the first type of test. If y is less than, y is either going to be up or down. What does less than imply? Down. So it's going to be shading down. And by the way, 0, 0 is perfectly fine as far as test 0, 0 and it comes up false. The other one, y is less than 2x plus 3. It's going to have a y-intercept of 3. What kind of a dot? Let's see here. Open. Why?
Because it's just less than.
Right. It's just less than, not less than or equal to. And then it has a slope of 2/1, which means you could go up 2 and to the right 1, which might go off screen. Or you could go down 2 and left 1, which interestingly enough is the exact same point as the other one. What kind of a line, by the way?
A
Dotted line, correct. Because it's a bunch of open dots strung together. And which way does that shade?
away from 0.
Does go 0, 0. Well, actually, this one, if you put 0, 0, is 0 less than 0 plus 3? Let's write it out.
Oh, so yes.
It actually is. So this would come up true. So you're going to cover 0, 0 or go down. Another way to think of it is if y is less than, if you have a letter by itself, you can always follow the letter. Y's are either going to be up or down, and less than implies down. But yeah, the 0, 0 test should work. I would just say write it out off to the side and make sure you check. So can everybody see the region? Above, below, left, or right? Below. Correct. Everybody okay with that? Number 11 is a little interesting. I mean, not that these weren't, but x minus 2y less than or equal to 4. And the other one is x minus 2y greater than or equal to -2. You notice how they both start the exact same thing? That's going to have an effect on the graph. Did anybody notice what happened to the lines?
Parallel.
They're parallel, right. If somebody's wondering, gee, I wonder if the first half of the lines are identical, Are they gonna be parallel? The answer is yes, actually. But, you can always just do chubby hand method and find, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Blank, 0, 0, blank, and we'll do blank, 0, 0, blank for this one as well. 0, 0, blank, that's right. So, yeah, backwards, but whatever. For this one, x is 4, and careful of the negative, y is negative 2. Let's do that one. They're all solid dots, so 4, 0, solid dot. 0, negative 2, my fault. Let me see why. I should have done this. See, that's why I hate subtraction. It burns everybody, including me. And then solid dot here. Now this I would do the 0, 0 trick. There are ways around it, but 0, 0 is pretty easy. Is 0 plus 0 less than or equal to 4? I think, yes it is. So this one's gonna be true, and they're just gonna shade towards 0, 0. This other one is 0, negative 2, and careful. Oh, yeah, I'm doing these, that's right. I sort of figured that would burn me for writing these backwards. So if I take y as 0, x is negative 2. And if I take x as 0, y is positive 1. Divide both sides by negative 2. Now let's try this one. Negative 2, 0. Solid dot. 0, positive 1. Solid dot. And sure enough, they're parallel. Which way does this shade? You tell me.
Towards 0, 0.
Yeah, is 0 plus 0 greater than negative 2?
Yeah.
It is. 0 is bigger than a negative number. So that's going to shade towards 0, 0. So where would it shade?
In between those.
In between, correct. So this infinite belt in between the two lines. Nice. 17 was the most interesting one of all. Sorry, 12. Let's say 17. My iPhone is checking. X plus y greater than or equal to 3? Or is it greater than?
Just greater than.
Yeah, greater than 3. And the other one is less than negative 3?
Yeah.
With the exact same stuff in front, which is interesting. I'll kind of turbo this. The top one, I'll do chubby hand, is going to be 3, 3. The bottom one is going to be negative 3, negative 3. Let's try that. So 0, 3, open dot. That's 3, 0, sorry. And then 0, 3, open dot. Dotted line. Jenny, tell me, which way does this shade? Towards 0, 0 or away? Away. 0 plus 0 is not greater than 3, so it's false. Shades away. And then, Xavier, help me out. This is negative 3, open, and negative 3, open, dotted line. And what do you notice about these two lines, by the way?
Parallel.
They're parallel. Which way does this shade? Try 0, 0. Is 0 plus 0 less than negative 3? No. Think temperature. 0 is not colder than 3 below. So 0, 0 is false. So which way does it shade? Away from 0, 0. Where's the solution?
There's no solution.
There is no solution. So you would write in words, no solution. It did say in the instructions, let me scroll it back up. If there's no solution, explain why not. Actually, if you show these arrows, that's enough of an explanation. Just if you actually draw those arrows, that'll tell me. Otherwise, you can put in words, they shade away from each other. That would be fine. Does that make sense? Up to number 12. Alrighty, number 13, everybody's favorite. I'm just gonna step through this one. I assume, let me grab a spare marker here. Yeah. Wow. Y'all are special, I'm using my last marker. So, is everybody good on number 9, 11, 12? It's like how that worked?
Yeah.
Feeling okay? Let me grab a towel. Let's take a look at corn and wheat problem. Or is it wheat and rye?
We,
Oh, I switched it up. Wheat and rye. Give the rye farmers a chance. So wheat and rye. So X, let me just put it this way. I put X is the number of tons of wheat, and Y is the number of tons of rye. The very first step in any of these problems is define your variables. Tell me what the variables mean. In this case, X is how much wheat in tons, and Y is how much rye in tons. And rye is a type of grain, by the way, in case I missed it. Kind of like rye bread. So, what sort of formulas do we need to look for? Somebody name?
logical limits,
Logical limits?
objective function,
Objective function?
and then
Starts with a P.
the
Pronounced like a F.
physical limits.
Physical limits. Yeah, there are physical limits. In other words, what you're actually doing physically. Then there will be some logical limits. And then this thingy called an objective function. And Fn is short for function. So can somebody step me through these? What physically are you, Jenny, what physically are we doing in this problem? Like if you as a farmer are doing what? Planting? True, and one other thing. True, we're planting rye and wheat, and we're also doing one other thing, physically. Not only are we planting, we're also... True, but further along. Like physically speaking, when you go into the field, plant the wheat and the rye, and you're also doing what? Like in the fall? Harvesting, exactly. Those are the two physical things we're doing. We're going to plant, and we're going to harvest. Oops. Can somebody give me a formula? Planting.
X plus 1y is less than or equal to 180.
Correct. 3x plus 1y less than or equal to 180. Where do you get the 3 from?
3 hours per ton to plant for the wheat.
Right. This is the wheat planting.
And then
Where do you get the 1?
the 1y is from rye.
Yeah, that's how long it takes to plant the rye. And where do you get the 180?
It says maximum available planting time is 180 hours.
Right. Your total planting time is limited to 180 hours or less. So, Xavier, tell me the formula for harvesting.
Would be 2x plus 4y
Uh-huh.
is less than or equal to 240.
Correct. Where do you get the 2x from?
2 hours, it takes harvest 30.
Yeah, it takes 2 hours to harvest the wheat. Where do you get the 4 from?
It takes 4 hours to harvest it.
Right, 4 hours per ton to harvest the rye, and the 240 came from what?
The amount of hours you have
To do what?
harvest.
To harvest. Yeah, the total harvesting time is 240 or less. So, logical limits. Jenny, what would those be?
Ignore that the x is greater than or equal to 0.
Correct.
And y is greater than or equal to 0.
Why would we have to say those?
Because it can be negative.
Right, there's no such thing as a negative amount of wheat or rye planted, or, yeah, wheat and rye, same corn. So what does objective function mean?
What you're actually trying to find out.
Right, the actual objective of the problem, which in this case is what?
Profit.
Profit. Give me a formula for that.
100x plus 90y
Yep.
equals profit.
Correct. Which, what the heck am I doing? Plus 90y. And there's no limit on the profit, so it's not less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. We just leave it alone. So, what do we do with this stuff? Graph it, correct. Anything that can graph, we graph. Is there anything we cannot graph?
The
The objective function, right, there's just no way to graph it. We couldn't even graph it as a line, because there's no number here, we can't even chubby hand it. So, speaking of chubby handing. And by the way, there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting y by itself and doing slope intercept. I'm just gonna do chubby hand method, because I'm kind of addicted to it. Blank 0, 0, blank, and this one is blank 0, 0, blank. Do the first one for me. Is it
It'd be 60,
60?
0,
Right, and then
and then 180.
180. Xavier, give me the next one. What's the x on the second one?
120.
120, good. And then the other?
2.
We got 4 here though.
Oh, sorry, no, I built a good one.
Okay.
60.
60, good. Righty. Jenny, graph this thing for me. What kind of dots, first of all? Solid or open?
Solid.
Solid, everywhere. What's the biggest number up here?
180.
180. So I would bring my graph to 180 in both directions, just to make it look balanced. Direct me. Give me the first dot.
You put 60 on the x.
Okay. How far along is that?
Yeah.
Like, what fraction of the way? 60 out of 180 is kind of like a third of it, right? So I'm gonna kind of guesstimate a third. Okay. And then what?
And 180 on the y.
180 on the y. Solid. And then
Solid line.
solid line. Which way is it shading?
Shade
Shade
up.
down, correct. Because 0, 0 is true. All right, Zach, take over. This one, direct me.
Next one, on the X, you put 120.
How far over? Okay.
2/3.
Yeah, 2/3 of the way over. Guesstimate a good point there. And then
And then 60 on the Y, a third.
it's about a third of the way out, correct. All right, and connect those two with the solid line. Which way does that shade?
Down.
Down, because 0, 0 is still true. Xavier, how do you graph these things?
Just put 0, 0,
Okay.
and then you have arrows pointing towards
To the right
you to the right, and then
and up, correct. X is greater than or equal to 0, shades to the right. That's this. And then y is greater than or equal to 0, shades up. Is there a region that survived all the way? Where is it?
Closest to 0, 0.
Yeah, it's this sort of diamond-y shaped thingy that's closest to 0, 0. How many corners or vertices does it have? 4. 1, 2, 3, and a mystery point. So give me the 3 points we know already.
0, 80.
0, 80. Actually 0,
0, 60.
60. Yes, good. And then
0,
0, 0, definitely.
I don't know why I did that one second.
That's right.
60, 0.
60, 0. And then a mystery point, which I don't know where it is. How do you find it? Xavier.
You add 3x plus 1y, and that is the same as 180.
Yeah.
Add 2x plus 4y is
2, 4.
200.
How do you solve it? Substitution, elimination? You can do either or, but which one did you use? Elimination. So what did you magnify?
The top,
Yeah, what did you multiply by?
4, negative,
Yeah, -4. Why negative?
because it has to cancel.
Yeah, exactly. The positives and positives don't cancel. This is not the best drawing I've ever done in my life. Go ahead and multiply this for me by -4. What's this going to be?
Negative 12x
Good,
plus negative 5
good.
is
And it's still, just pretend it's equals, just for 30 seconds.
equal to
Yeah, sorry about
negative
that.
480.
Negative what?
480.
180 times 4.
That goes 220.
Little too big. Here's what I do. I do 100 times 4 and then 80 times 4 and put them together. Yeah, 720. So what kind of 720?
Negative.
Negative 720. Right. If you wanted to do it by hand, you certainly can. 180 times 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 8 is 32. Just leave the 2 and carry the 3. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. And that'll work there. Bottom one should stay the same. 2x plus 4y. Just pretend it's equals 240. Jenny, take over. What happens?
Sorry, where are we? Oh, negative 10x.
Yep. What happens to the y's?
They cancel.
Cancel. Equals what?
480.
Close.
Negative.
Negative 480. Everybody see why it's negative? Positive and negative rounding, and the negative one wins the battle. Keep going. How do you get x by itself?
You divide by 10.
Almost.
Negative 10.
Divide by negative 10. And what do you get?
48.
Good. X equals 48. Isaiah, take over. What do we do next?
Plug that in to either of the problem.
Yeah, in order to get what?
Y.
In order to get y. Yeah, let's try it. So-
Second one.
Sure. So 2 times what?
48.
2 times 48 plus 4 times y equals 240. Keep going. What's 48 times 2?
96.
96 plus 4y equals 240. Keep going.
Subtract 96.
Mhm.
Both sides.
Okay. 4y equals
Have 150, no, 144.
144. Good. Because you borrow this. And then 10 minus 6 is 4. 23 minus 9 is 14. Yeah. One more step. There, take go.
Divide both sides of 4.
What do you get?
Y is equal to,
Did I ever show you this, the paper saver version of long division?
yeah,
It was the 1, 4, 1, 4, 4 over 4, for example. 4 goes into 1, 0 times. How many times does 4 go into 14?
3.
3. And 14, how many times is that? What is it? 4 times 3 is 12. Leaving how much out of this?
2.
2. I just write a little 2 here. And now 4 goes into 24.
6 times.
Exactly. Did we see that before? It was college before I learned how to do that. It was like a neat little, you don't have to do it, but it saves paper. Y is 36, and we have our mystery point. 48, comma, 36. That's actually the main part of the problem. Now, it's not always the solution, but it is the time consumer part of the problem. Number 15, find all the vertices. Ta-da, we just did. 0, 60, 0, 0, 60, 0, and 48, 36. Number 16, solve the problem. How much of each crop should be planted to maximize the profit? How do you do that?
You plug in the
Oop, good chair.
points that you have to the profit.
Right, you plug all those points into the profit formula and see which one's biggest. What is the profit formula again?
Profit equals 100x plus 90y.
Yeah, 100x plus 90y. And go ahead and plug the first one in. What would it look like?
100 times 0
Uh-huh.
plus 90 times 60.
Plus 90 times 60, what do you get?
5,400.
5,400. So $5,400 that way, which is not bad. I'll do this one for you. You're welcome. So you stay home, do nothing, and you get no money, which is accurate. Isaiah, take over. Try the 60 comes 0.
100 times 60.
Yep.
Plus 90 times 0.
Yeah, plus 90 times 0. What do you get?
6,000.
6,000. So what's the best so far?
That.
That one. Now the 48 and 36, you're going to have to do 100 times 48 plus 90 times 36. So do a little bit of math off to the side. The first one is 4,800 plus, I have no idea what this is, 90 times 36, let's just do it. 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 9 is 54, 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 9 is 27, this is 0, this is 4, this is 12, carry the 1, 3240. Plus 4,800, I have no idea, let's try it. This is 0, this is 4, this is 10, carry the 1, 8,040. So which of those 4 points was the best? The last one. Translate that into English words. What does this mean?
48 tons of wheat
Yes,
and 36 tons of rye.
correct. And 36, I'll make sure I read it correctly. Tons of rye. Now that is the answer to that problem. That's the answer number 60. Questions? So, extra credit. Design your own system of equations, both in standard form, no coefficients of 0, that'd be cheating, which would give you a solution of x equals 5, y equals 2. Believe it or not, this is a trick. If you ever become a math teacher, by the way, I'll give a plug to the math teacher. They actually pay you to play with numbers forever. They actually pay me for this, which is totally hilarious. I'm having the time of my life doing this, but yeah, not doing paperwork, but doing this stuff. This is one of the easiest tricks once you learn it. Everybody thinks it's so mysterious, and it is until you learn how to do it. Kind of like the Rubik's Cube. By the way, I bought the book, I cheated. So just saying. I can do the Rubik's Cube now, but it's not really mine now. Not because of any brilliance, it's because I spent like 24 bucks. X equals 5, y equals 2. Watch this. Here's what I do. Give me a number between 1 and 10. Just any old number you want. 8. 8x plus, give me a number between 1 and 10. 2y. Just pick any number off the top of your head. Now you do the math. What's 8 times 5? 40. 2 times 2?
4.
You just made one of your equations.
What?
That's it. Now you just have to have 2 of them. And make sure they're not clones of each other. Don't do the 8x plus 2y. Otherwise you'll get like coinciding or parallel or something. But, yeah, I don't know. Let's try it. 3x minus 5y. Just to make things exotic. Say, what's 3 times 5, first of all?
3 times.
Okay, so remember 15. And then 5 times 2.
10.
Subtract. You're done with the extra credit problem. That's sneaky. This is totally evil. But that's exactly how I make up my problems. Like, yeah, look at problem number 5. That's how I designed it. I picked the numbers ahead of time that I wanted, and then just picked any old number I wanted and threw them in. So the secret's out. Now, there are a couple ways, a couple things you should do. Let's just say you're trying to be nice to your class. You're teaching them the very first time and you don't want an absolute brain buster melting. I would not do this. And then calculate it. That's called cruel. Because can you imagine what they're going to have to do for the next half hour to solve this stupid thing? So yeah, keep nice small numbers. And the other thing, make sure that these aren't like proportional to each other. Like if I did that, my first test I ever wrote, I fell into this. Like 2x plus 3y is equal to, what I wanted was x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 1. I wanted that. So I said, okay, that's 8, 11. And I felt really proud of myself. And I did this. Does anybody see any problem now? It's the same line. How do you know? They don't look the same.
Because you divide the second by 2 and
Or multiply the top by 2, or yeah, watch what happens when I shrink this by 2. What kind of lines do we have here?
top of each other.
On top of each other. Remember that? Coinciding. Right. So you get a solution of infinitely many solutions, and I hadn't taught the class how to do that yet, which was totally awkward. So they knew how to do the regular ones, and then I threw this. So I said, oh, well, we're gonna have to like do that over, sorry. That was not my most shiny moment. But I quickly learned the way to prevent this, just make sure, I mean, feel free to make the first one proportion, multiply, but make sure the second one is different. If you make the first one positive and the second one negative, it's pretty much guaranteed to work all the time. It won't be parallel, it won't be perpendicular. Okay, moving on. Righty. We were just reading out the answers. 15, 16, 17. Oh, that was extra credit. 18. From the problems, if the price of corn doubled, that means the profit, and the price of wheat tripled, what amount should be used to maximize the profits? Now, here's what you do. If wheat doubles, this is now 200x. And if the rye triples, it's 270y. Did I say corn? I'm an idiot. It's supposed to be wheat and rye. Yeah. But that's, all you have to do is, you do not have to do the graphing over. You do not have to do the finding the mystery point over. That's all done. Just plug these 4 points into the new equation and see which one's biggest. Done. I don't know which one, but out of curiosity, I think. I don't know, you want to see it? Okay. Does that make sense?
What would be the end, like?
That's exactly what I don't know.
Okay.
Let's try it. Life is short. Life is short, do math. I wonder how that would solve. So let's just say you have to, yeah, pretend instead of corn and wheat, I said wheat and rye. I will fix that on the test. So it looks like 200x plus 270y. And I've got 4 points, 0, 60, 0, 0, I'll bet you that's not it. 60, 0, and 48, 36. Let's try this. So this is basically 0 plus 5400 thing. No, 54, wow. Hold on, that's big. 54,000, is that right? No, it's not either. I'm just gonna do the multiplying. 270 times 60. 0, 0, 0, that was exciting. 0, 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 2 is 12, that is 16. 16,200. Which would give you 16,200. This will give you 0. This will give you 12,000. And this, here we go. 200 times 48. This is times 0 times 0, 16 times 0 times 0, 8. This is 0, 0, 6, 9,600. Plus 270 times 36. I did it to you, so I had to do it to myself. This 6 times 7 is 42, carry the 4. 12, 16, 0, 21, carry the 2. 6, 8, okay, 0, 2, 7. Oh yeah, I'll be out of the way in just a second. So 9720 plus 9600. You get 0, 2, 13, 19,320. Wow. So we're looking at 28,920, which means that the same amount would give you the maximum. Sometimes a different one takes place. In other words, if I had made, if the price of wheat had gone down and the price of rye had gone through the roof, then this one would probably win. Because this is the one that would have the real moneymaker crop. Design, number 19, design your own system of inequalities in point slope form whose solution region includes 10, 10. Well, I'll show you a way to do that. Oops, I'll get those in a minute. Is everybody on this part? Okay. Let me clear this off. How much time do we have? Yeah, 10 minutes, we can do it. Now, point slope form, if you remember from a previous chapter, looks like this. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So if I want two inequalities in that form, that includes 10 comma 10, here's actually what I would do. I would graph it first. I want my solution region to cover that. Now I want to just make up a couple of lines. If I have a line here and a line here, can you tell me which way I should shade this one?
Up.
Has to be up. Which way should I shade this one?
Up.
Up. Correct. Now, I get to pick whatever equations I want. I'm just going to pretend, now it has to be realistic. This point is not 10 comma 20. Does that make sense? Do you see why not? 10 comma 20 is up here. It's 10 comma something less than 10. I'm going to make it up as 10 comma 5. And I'm going to pretend that this thing is a slope, as long as it's an uphill slope that's not insanely steep, anything will work. So what do you think is a reasonable slope for this thing? Like, a slope of 1 is perfectly like 45 degrees up, like perfect diagonal. A slope of 2 is taller, and a slope of 1/2 is shorter, 1/3 is shorter.
1/2.
1/2. Let's say the first one is 1/2. Here's my first equation. Y minus 5 is, I don't know if it's less than or greater than, we'll do it in a second. 1/2 parentheses x minus 10. Don't worry about that yet. That'll tell us which way to shade. Actually, you tell me. Which way are we supposed to shade?
Away from 0, 0.
Away from 0, 0.
Or up. So keep
Or up. By the way, the y minus 5, you could put this over to the other side for 10 seconds and use the letter by itself trick. See what I mean? Which way do you think it's going to be? Greater than or less than?
Greater than.
Greater than. That shades up. Greater than or equal to. So the short answer is you're really not supposed to know this, but slope, our point slope form uses the same up and down shading trick as letter by itself, because it's almost by itself. All you have to do is add 5 to the other side. That takes care of this one. This one, pick a point that you think is reasonable. I'm just going to pick this point. Can anybody think of a relatively reasonable?
2.
Yeah, what comma what?
2 comma.
If it's red on the x-axis, it's 2 comma 0.
0.
Right. And then give me a reasonable slope for this. What does it look like? Is positive or negative, first of all? Jenny. It's negative. Here's negative 1. It's a perfect diagonal. Negative 3 is up here, negative 1/2 is here.
Negative 2.
It's something bigger than bigger looking than negative 1. So negative 2 should be reasonable. So the second slope is negative 2. Somebody give me this, don't give me the symbol in the between, but somebody give me the formula from beginning to end.
Y minus 0.
Yes. What's the slope?
Something and then 2 over 1. Or negative.
Negative 2 over 1. Parentheses what?
X minus 2.
2. And then which way do you want that line to shade?
Greater than.
Greater than.
Or.
Or equal to. Got it. By the way, greater than, just greater than would be fine. You just have to make a dotted line. And you're done. That was a tough one, but it is possible. Any questions on any of the above?
Can we go over number 1?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what I think.
Solve the by graphing. Let me get a little slip of wire. The 4x minus 4. Let's try that. So y equals 4x minus 4 looks like this. You go down 4, solid dot, and then the slope is rise 4, run 1. It looks like this, more or less. It's a lot better when you have an actual graph space. This looks kind of rough. The other one is y equals 1/2 x plus 3. This is y equals 4x minus 4. And y equals 1/2 x plus 3. So you rise 3. You rise 1, run 2. And interestingly enough, I didn't draw that very well. It should be going this way. It should hit exactly. There's a way to find out. Let's just say you're not 100% secure in whether you drew it properly or not, or if you thought your hand trembled or something. You know how you went up 4 over 1? Do it again. Up 4. Where would you end up? What height? 4. And then how far over?
So 2.
2. Now check where you ended up here. You started at 3. Rise 1, run 2. The exact same point. So where are you? What come away? 2 comma 4. What the heck am I doing? Brain and get together. 2 comma 4. That's a solution. X equals 2, y equals 4. Does that make sense? The other ones you want to see dissected?
8.
Yeah, I expected number 8. Number 8 is kind of like a primitive corn and wheat problem. They said the senior class has a high school A and high school B plans separate trips. So they're basically renting vans and buses. School A, how many vans and how many buses?
4 vans, 8 buses.
4 vans and 8 buses. So, school A, 4 vans and 8 buses. I just did B and B. You can do X and Y if you want. How many people was that? 220. Everybody see where I got that? Now do the exact same thing with school B.
2B plus 1B
Plus 1B, and how many students?
equals 44.
44. Solve that.
Um,
And you can use any old method you like.
Multiply the bottom by -2.
Sure. Multiply the bottom by -2. What would you get?
-4 plus -2B
Mm-hmm.
equals -88.
Good, -88, and I'll rewrite this. 4b plus 8b is equal to 220. Let's do it. Add these, and these will cancel. 6b equals 1, yeah. So this is, hang on a second. I'm just gonna do the top of the side. 220 and barrel to 1. 10 minus 8 is 2. 21 minus 8 is 13. And then this, yeah, and divide by 6. Then b is equal to, this goes in twice, 22.
Okay.
And then plug the b back in and get b, which should be 11. Does that make sense?
So the buses is 22.
Buses is 22, and the vans is 11, correct.
That makes sense.
Okay. Any other ones you want to see or hear about? And I promise on my honor, I will give you more space on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll give you like a whole page for this. Everybody feeling okay on these?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, tell you what, I'll give it the last 3 minutes or so to let your brains cool off. Tomorrow we'll have the test, and then Wednesday we go over the test and launch into chapter 8. Worry about that whole other back. Sehr gut. Oh, and we'll be seeing you later, Michael. If you're not back by tomorrow, we'll make arrangements. So, hope you're feeling better. Here's my hand waving goodbye. Bye-bye.